Welcome back. I was just on a tour with the hippies back to 1969. I got a lot of video to show you too. I'm back in time for 2 weeks. So did you miss me? Yeah, went on a tour for 2 weeks, just escaped reality and went back to 1960s. It was great. Seriously, I got a lot of videos to show you. And we'll start off today. Why not just start right now and I'll show you some of the things that I captured on my little tour of 1960s. One of the questions that people ask most, besides why Charles Manson, is why don't you write a book? Actually, I already have a book. I already wrote a book. I wrote a book a long time ago. It's packed full of things too, man. Things that you've probably never even heard. If you ever go on a tour with me, and I take my book with me, we'll probably be able to see some things that you've not even heard of before. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to go deep into my book. I'm going to show you a little, you don't even have to buy the book. I'm the only one that has the book. I wanted a book, so I wrote a book. But since I'm the only one that has a copy of my book, I guess I'll have to show you what's in it and where we're headed today. These are illustrations. These illustrations are all done by me too. I did those. This here is a guy by the name of Lawrence Merrick. So today we're going to go inside this book and take a trip on that map to that spot and find out what really happened there. I think this spot is responsible for the whole myth, a big part of the myth and the legend of Manson. What do you believe about Manson? Do you believe he was a cult leader? Do you think he was trying to create a race war? Do you think any of that stuff was true? I do. That I wrote out by hand. I'm quite proud of this. Look how straight those lines are on that, on that paper. And that don't have any lines on it. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on in my book. And today this is another part of the story that, you can visit in Hollywood now. Now that I tell you out of my book on where it is, I'll show you where it is. We'll take a look at it. It's where the myth, I think, part of the myth of Manson started. Everything made up about Manson that you could ever imagine started at this place. And it wasn't Bugliosi's house, and it wasn't the courthouse. It was another place. It was another place, and it was another person who had a lot to do with the legend of what became Manson. Lawrence Merrick Studios, 870 North Vine, Hollywood, California. It wasn't far from the Hollywood Forever Cemetery or even Scott Michael's old place when he had it. It was pretty much right down the street. And it wasn't far away from Sharon Tate's Beverly Hillbillies set when she played that part. Lawrence Merrick, he was known in Hollywood for running and opening some film studios, acting schools, where people could learn how to act. Sharon Tate, one of the victims in the Manson murders, was a former student at Merrick's Academy of Dramatic Arts. Then he later moved his business, which was Merrick Studios, to 870 North Vine Street in Hollywood. It was a low-cost acting school with several students attending via the GI Bill. And Robert Hendrickson was one of those guys who was just back from the military, who got money from the government. It was called the GI Bill. They would give you money to go learn a trade or go to college so that you could get back into civilian life. And Hendrickson went to become a filmmaker. Lawrence Merrick's claim to fame was probably as a film director, accredited film director and author, because he's best known for co-editing the Oscar-nominated documentary Manson in 1973. And that was put out by one of his students, Robert Hendrickson would say that he made this film because of the interest of Sharon Tate, because Sharon Tate going to the Merrick School before that, and now the case was going on because, Hendrickson just gets back from Vietnam, gets his money, goes to school. Manson Family's right out the street. He heads out to Chatsworth and he starts filming these people. And he calls it a documentary, but this thing ain't no documentary. If you've ever watched this film and you've believed it, you've been hook, line, and sinker, man. It is full of so many... It was banned in California during the trial. I think it was the trial of maybe Lynette Fromm, not actually... maybe it was the second trial. It was banned in California where they wouldn't allow you to watch this thing if, during one of those trials. And they say, everybody leads to say, oh, it was banned because of the fact that it was a true story and they didn't want to... No. It was banned for the fact that it was full of lies. And they were portraying these people as people that really weren't even... It was just made up. It was all made up. Most of the time, even when I watched the film the first time, I thought, wow, that's bizarre, man. Those people were just wild out at that Spawn Ranch. But if you want, like a scene with the girls with the guns.
Aren't you worried about the police?
If you want it, here it is. Come and get it. But you better hurry, because it won't be here long, you motherfuckers.
Know how to use guns, and half of them don't even know how to use guns. I can tell you that. They don't know how to use guns. Most of them are sitting there with their fingers right on the trigger. It's the most dangerous thing you could do with a gun. They don't know how to use guns.
When somebody needs to be killed, there's no wrong. You do it. And then you move on. And you pick up a child, and you move him to the desert. You pick up as many children as you can. And you kill whoever gets in your way. This is us. You have to make love with it. You have to know it. You have to know every part of it. And to know you know it is to know it. So that you could pick it up any second and shoot.
And they didn't use the guns at Spawn Ranch. That wasn't at Spawn Ranch. That's misleading there. That's making you think, oh wow, they're out at Spawn Ranch with all the guns. No. Those are prop guns. And that's at a studio that we're walking around at right now. It wasn't even at Spawn Ranch. They just let them ad-lib in there. So those girls were trying to be scary. They were already the Manson family. We just kill whoever. Who the hell did they kill? Who did Lynette ever kill? Come on. She didn't even load the gun when she went to kill somebody. And then Sandra Good, she always mouthed off like she was going to kill someone. Who did she ever kill? She never killed nobody. She didn't even have her babies out on the ground. She went to the hospital to do that. So these people were just, they were just talking. None of it was even true. They got caught up in the moment too. In this, Manson talks about there's some sneaky shit going on in Sneakyville. Yeah, in this film, it's all Sneakyville. Even the part where Manson's talking, isn't he Manson? It's not even him. I mean, he said that, but they didn't think they got his voice on recording good enough because they weren't right up in his face with a microphone. They were filming him like everybody else was filming him from wherever everybody else could film him from. Hendrickson had no special treatment there. He just followed the crowd, and he couldn't get Manson's voice well enough, so what did he do? Got an actor to make it up. And what did they say at the very beginning of the film? There's no actors. And then they also go on to say that these are all Charles Manson's words. These are not the opinions of us. Wait a minute. These are the opinions of you, and none of them are the opinions of Charles Manson. So, let's listen to it.
County jail, looking under the door, and the man is there, sneaking like little children out of town. Sneaking all around the courthouse, sneaking in and out the building, and sneaking everywhere. Everything is sneaky up around Sneakyville. Everything we have to do is, to get to the truth, has to be sneaky. It seems a shame to sneak to get to the truth. It makes the truth such an evil, dirty, old, nasty thing.
We are sneaking in the county jail, looking under the door to see if the man is there. Sneaking like little children out of town. Sneaking all around the courthouse. Sneaking in and out of the ventilators, sneaking everywhere. Everything is sneaky up around Sneakyville. Everything we have to do is to get to the truth has to be sneaky. It seems a shame to sneak to get to the truth, to make the truth such an evil, dirty, old, nasty thing.
And Hendrickson goes on to say, he catches Manson's voice on film singing, tell tell me the answer. You may be a lover, but you ain't no dancer. That's not Manson either. It's another lie. It's another lie. See, I almost sound like Manson there. That, in the film, was Clem. Steve Grogan. A guy that's walking around in the streets right now, probably singing that same tune. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Listen.
Battle of Armageddon.
Look out, Elvis Kelly. Want me to make you? It's coming down fast, but don't let it break you. Tell me the answer. You may be a lover, but you ain't no dancer. Look out, Elvis Kelly. Elvis
So if
Kelly.
you ever watch that film, it's entertainment. You can even hear the Manson family in it as they're ad-libbing along. I think they're sitting there eating or something, and it's real colorful, like Kodachrome or some shit. I don't even know what it is. But they're sitting there eating, and they're talking about, we're making a movie. Yeah, they're making a movie. They're not making a documentary on them. They're making a movie. He's like, ad-lib, let's make a movie. And that's what they were doing. No reality to it. Half the people portrayed in it aren't even portraying themselves in it. They're acting out characters in it. At the beginning, it should say all are actors, and none of this has anything to do with Charles Manson. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about, and that's not why I came down to Merrick Studios. Merrick Studios it's probably the place where they filmed that at. I don't actually know if they filmed that scene in the studio, but this is the studio that they had at the time. I doubt if he would have rented any other place out for it. So 9 times out of 10, this is the place too that they actually filmed those gun scenes inside of. But again, that's not why we're here. We're not here for that. We're here for the karma that came down later to Merrick. Man, karma came down hard on him too, because he's running a film studio. And one day he's going home, and out in this back parking lot, he's walking through his own parking lot, minding his own business, and all of a sudden, he's shot right in the back. He's bloody everywhere. He makes it back to the back door of his film studio right here. It's still there, and he gets inside. He goes into the side of one of the first classrooms, and he walks in and he says, "I've been shot. I'm dying." They all just sat there in amazement. They thought he was the greatest actor ever. They all thought he was acting. He's just been shot. An hour later, he was pronounced dead. Presbyterian Hospital up the street. And 5 minutes after that, the Manson family did it. It was everywhere. The Manson family did it. It was retribution on this guy and on the film, and Manson family did it. They did another one. They killed somebody else. Now they need to find the Manson family members that killed this guy in a retribution murder. There's a guy by the name of Dennis. I can't remember what his last name was. It was a hard name to pronounce, Magnano or something like that. He was in San Jose, and he called the San Jose Police Department. He says, "You know what, man? That guy was my teacher. I had a beef with him, and I shot him." And they're like, "Yeah, right, whatever." Hung up on him. He decided to call the Los Angeles Police Department too and tell them, "Hey, you know what? That guy was my teacher. Had a beef with him. I shot him." "Yeah, right, whatever. See you, kid." It took a while for them to get over the fact that the Manson family didn't actually do it. And the guy calling them on the phone to tell them he did it. Yeah, that's the way it goes in all this stuff. They always want to believe in the Manson family. They always want to believe the Manson family did it. The Manson family didn't do that. The Manson family didn't do that damn film. And I doubt very much the Manson family had much to do with any of that contrived murder stuff that they said was going on over there. Tex Watson family had a lot to do with that stuff. But the Manson family, I think they're a lot more peaceful than history's gonna make it out to be. But anyway, I got more videos. I went on all kinds of tours. This wasn't the only place I stopped at. I stopped at a lot of places. And I hope I stopped at a lot of places that you've never seen before, and I can tell you some stories that you've never heard before. And until next time, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, thanks for being so nice, thanks for everything. life's too short to be mad at anything. You know, I've met some crazy, weird, strange, I even met some assholes in this whole thing. And I've met some people that I should hold some grudges against. I don't hold any grudge. I don't have any enemies. There's nobody out there that I don't like. I mean, there might be people that I might not talk to anymore because it's less stress on me and less anxiety to me. But I like everybody. Hope you all enjoyed that. And until next time, as always, peace and love.